Today I get to teach you all about how to conjugate ER and IR verbs in the present tense. Now, these two verb endings are often taught together because they're so similar. You're going to notice some similarities between these and AR verbs. We've already done a video on that. But the ER and IR verbs are very similar between them. I mean, there's only two differences, and we'll get to that. But again, it's very, very similar to how we conjugate an AR verb. So, first step is we're going to take, and by the way, this is also in the present tense. Okay, present tense. Remember that. We're going to be using the verb comer, and we're going to be using the verb vivir for this. Comer means to eat. Vivir means to live. And the main reason I chose these two verbs is because they're short. Yeah, I'm lazy. Anyway, so in order to conjugate an ER verb, just like with AR verbs, you're going to drop the ending. Okay? The part that you're left with here, the COM, that's called the root or the stem. Some people call it a root, some people call it a stem. I don't care which one you want to call it. But you take that root or stem and you write it on all of the branches of our happy little verb tree right here. Okay? Then we add the endings. Okay, and this is going to show who does the action. So if I wanted to say I eat, first person plural, okay, or excuse me, first person singular, I just add an O. Como. And the word como means I eat. And that's the ending you put in the yo form for an ER verb. For the to form, we add es. We have comes, and that means you eat. If we want to say he or she or you in the usted form, you eat, we simply add an e, come. And that means he eats, she eats, or you in the usted form, you eat. Okay? For nosotros, we're going to add hemos, comemos. That means we eat. Okay? For vosotros, just in case you're in Spain, you need to know this. E with an accent, and then an I and an S. Coméis means ye eat. And then if we want to say they eat, or all y'all, yous guys eat, something like that, we'd add an en, and we have come. Okay? And this is going to work for pretty much all ER verbs. Yeah, there's some goofy irregulars, we'll get to those later. But this is going to work for the vast majority of ER verbs. So, if I wanted to use the verb beber, beber meaning to drink, first thing I would do is drop the ER. I'm left with beb, B-E-B. I put B-E-B on all of the branches of our happy little verb tree right there. And then I just add the correct ending for depending on who's doing the action. If I'm trying to say I drink, I put bebo. You drink, bebes. We drink, bebemos, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much how you conjugate an ER verb. Now, we're going to tackle vivir. We're going to tackle IR verbs. And again, the process is very, very similar. First thing, we drop the ending. We're left with viv. And as you may recall from earlier, that part of the verb is called the root or the stem. We write that root or stem on all of the branches there of the tree, and then we add the endings. Now you're going to notice how similar these are. So for example, the yo form, we add an O. Let me just say vivo. Well, actually, I can't hear you say vivo, so just say it in your head. Vivo, and that means I live. Okay? Just like the yo form of ER verbs. The to form, vives, just like the to form of ER verbs. Okay? And so vives means you live. If we want to say he or she lives, vive. Alright? And then if we wanted to say they live, now notice I'm skipping down to the bottom right here. If we want to say they live, we say viven. Okay? So you'll notice, 4 of the forms are exactly the same between the two types of verbs, between ER and IR verbs. That's where the similarities stop, unfortunately. But it's really not, these other two really aren't that difficult to do. So, if for the nosotros form, for the we form of an IR verb, we add these letters. I-M-O-S. Vivimos. Again, you can see it's similar. This is an ER verb, and it says comemos. This is an IR verb. We change that E to an I. Vivimos. Again, similar pattern, but not exactly the same. And then if you're in Spain, oops, that's supposed to be an I. Vivis. And that's the vosotros form. That would be ye live. Okay? And again, this same pattern is going to work with the IR verb. So if you take the verb like escribir, meaning to write, okay? We put escribir at the top. We drop the IR. We'd be left with escribe. That's our root or stem. We write it on all of the branches of our happy little verb tree right there, okay? And then we add the appropriate ending. Escribo would be I write. Escribes would be you write. Escribe would be he or she writes. Escribimos, we write, escribís, vosotros, ye write, and escriben would be they write. And basically that's the idea of conjugating ER and IR verbs in the present tense.